Hey, it's your old pal Avian and Loaded back here with action figure obsession. And my last video I talked about Blade. That's the 2017 Netflix Man Thing Build a Figure, also known as the Marvel Knights wave. A lot of the characters that were in that Build a Figure wave were either part of the Marvel Knights subline or street level heroes. You had Jessica Jones and the Punisher and Daredevil and Blade. um, so I was thinking, I've got a shelf on my Avengers Tower that is currently holding some 1970s sort of Bronze Age Marvel characters. But talking about Blade and recently thinking a lot about Daredevil, and always thinking about my old pal Frank here. That's the Walgreens exclusive Punisher with the head from the Punisher War Journal 2-pack Punisher. All this shit's always going through my head. We talked about Paladin in a recent video. And all of a sudden, I was kind of thinking, I do have an affection for, as we call them, the street level heroes, the heroes for hire, the Marvel Knights. And I started making a list of who would I put in a display of those characters, either on my Bronze Age / Silver Age display, or that small little shelf area that I have on my Avengers Tower that could probably hold a dozen or so figures. And another, you're always thinking about what are the rules of, a given display, who's in, who's out, based on what criteria. And I actually was thinking it might be fun. I've been collecting, I started collecting Marvel Legends with Series 1 from Toy Biz back in 2002, but have, quit and purged my collection at least twice. I think now I'm on my third major go round of collecting Marvel Legends that started about 10 years ago, 10 years ago. Or right around the time of the Netflix Man Thing Build a Figure wave. I think that either the Man Thing Build a Figure or the Avengers Hulkbuster um, Build a Figure wave. It was one of those two. Was the first Build a Figure that I completed when I came back to Marvel Legends and kind of stayed this time around. And so I have some of the older figures. This is Daredevil here in the center. Is the one from the Defenders box set. The 4-pack of comic book Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones in her Jewel costume when she was retconned in as having been an Avenger, I think, wearing a superhero costume and all that. But I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun for me, maybe not for you, to make a street level / Marvel Knights display using in each case, in each iteration possible, the oldest version or the oldest body or character or oldest version of the character that I have in my Marvel Legends collection. So this Luke Cage, he came in the box set with Daredevil, and I think that was 2017 if I recall correctly. If not late 2016, early 2017. That was an Amazon exclusive. Paladin was 2017, and he was never a Marvel Knights character, but he's definitely a street level sort of mercenary type hero. He first debuted in Daredevil number 150 and was originally meant as an antagonist for Daredevil. Black Widow is listed on Wikipedia as being part of the Marvel Knights. And I guess now that I think about it, I think that J.G. Jones illustrated Marvel Knights Black Widow series that introduced Yelena Belova. I think that was a Marvel Knights title. Marvel Knights was an imprint of Marvel, where the company kind of told Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, "Hey, we don't know what to do with these guys. You do something with them." So Daredevil was under the Marvel Knights umbrella. Black Widow was, I believe, Punisher was for a while. I'm not sure if Blade technically was ever under the Marvel Knights imprint, but he was part of that Marvel Knights wave in 2017. Shang-Chi, I believe, made it under the Marvel Knights umbrella, and I'm including the Heroes for Hire, so I'm also thinking about adding in Iron Fist and Misty Knight, and maybe kit bashing a Colleen Wing to have in the display as well. I always think of Luke Cage and Colleen Wing and Misty Knight and Iron Fist as kind of a team into and of themselves. They certainly were when I was reading Power Man and Iron Fist. It was as it was known back in the late '70s, early '80s. The original Luke Cage and Iron Fist comic book, and of course, if you're going to have a street level a book, you got to have the Punisher in there. I think this would be a very interesting and explosive, frankly, blend of personalities were you to create a story about them, a movie or a comic book or something like that. Because you'd have, Daredevil and his ethical code, and the Punisher and his code. I don't know if I'd call it ethical, but he has a code. And then you've got, the more violent characters like Paladin and Blade, and you have the sort of Zen athleticism and mysticism of Shang-Chi, and you have the kind of seen it all, fed up attitude of Luke Cage. That guy had a rough life, spent some time in prison. I believe wrongly accused and went to prison, and that's how he ended up with powers. Didn't they do some sort of experiment on him while he was in prison or whatever? Never let anybody experiment on you, because you're going to end up being either a supervillain or a superhero. And there's at least a couple of characters in this lineup that kind of tread that line. Punisher and Paladin, certainly, and I doubt that a lot of what Blade does is technically legal, but as long as he's keeping the vampires off the streets, nobody's going to give him too much crap about it, right? So yeah, this is so yeah. So I was thinking the oldest versions or the oldest figures I would use now. Black Widow. I have 5 of these Black Widows. 4 of them are still Black Widow, either Natasha or Yelena. One of them I turned into the Baroness, Black Baroness, for my G.I. Joe Classified series. But I also have some kit bashed Black Widows too. So I think they're in my Shield display now. I could go through there. I don't know that this is the Black Widow that I would want in in this display. It might be a little too luxe for purposes here. This is not meant to be here's the best version of this character in the display, or here's the most expensive one that I have, or valuable one that I have in the display. I'm thinking of, Marvel was trying to save some money and reinvigorate their company, their image with the Marvel Knights line. And I think I want to do the same with the display. Not so that's why the older Daredevil. I mean, since that Daredevil, I have newer ones that I have include the Armored Daredevil and the Man Without Fear 3-pack Daredevil that was on the Renew Your Vows body mold, and I have the new Secret Wars Daredevil. I love this Daredevil, even though it's on the Bucky Cap mold. It looks to me the most like a Frank Miller and Klaus Janson style Daredevil. It's one of the few Marvel Legends Daredevils that gets the chest logo correct. It probably could be a little bigger, but it is the outline in black with the transparent inside the letters, and that really is what the logo should be. I wish that's what was the logo on or the emblem on the Secret Wars Daredevil. Robo on the Robo Don't Know channel actually did a video. If you look at his Secret Wars Daredevil video, It might have been one of his Playday videos. He actually he must be a much better painter than I am, because he was able to go in and just paint red inside those solid black D's on Daredevil's chest and basically turned it into what it looks like in the comics. And I salute him for that. He did a nice job. Um, there was an earlier Daredevil also on the Bucky Cap mold, like this one. That was in the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave, which I think was also where Pizza Spider-Man debuted. So I guess that puts this guy back at, 2013 or 2014. Um, but I still dig how he looks. He is outdated. I have zhuzhed him up with a little Kiki's loose joint fix, so he's nice and tight. He's not wobbly or floppy. His feet don't want to make him fall over, although he does have those tiny Bucky Cap feet. But let's not go there. Let's try to not think about that. Luke Cage, obviously, this is on the Hyperion body mold, as you can tell from that shelf-like chest. We talked about that in a recent video. And I guess that's why he's been hanging around here on the work table. I've been thinking about that. I mean, he's a good Luke Cage. Let's be frank. The Hyperion body mold has some issues, but you could do worse than this Luke Cage. I do have the newer one from the 2-pack with Iron Fist. I also have, if I can get him out without wrecking anything, we have the Netflix Luke Cage. But I don't want to. I don't want to get into the TV and movie versions for this. I want it to be a comic based display. Put you over here, which is why I do have Jessica Jones, although she's currently doing double duty as Mary Jane Watson. It's the Jessica Jones Netflix body with the Mary Jane Watson head from the. I think it was from the retro Gwen Stacy pack-in, the Mary Jane head. I think it's from that one. If it's not, it's the one from Spinneret. But I think it's the 2020 retro head of Mary Jane on the Jessica Jones body. So she's hanging out with a suited Peter Parker from his ritzy, zhuzhed up Parker Industries days when he came back. After Superior Spider-Man, he took back over his life and kicked Dr. Octopus out of his skull, and he was doing okay there, owning his own company and having some money there for a while and dressing in nice suits. So that's who supermodel Mary Jane Watson is hanging out with, that version of Peter Parker in my Spider-Man display, and my Bronze Age, silver and Bronze Age Marvel shelf. Those are the two shelves right now that I think are most in need of a rethink and an overhaul. And I think that if I split off some of the older versions of these characters, because that display already has Daredevils, it already has Punishers, I think then I could... and that's the older Blade, by the way. That is the Blade from that Netflix Marvel Knights Build-A-Figure wave. The more modern Blade is sitting over here with Egghead. They're hanging out. So this Blade, I think, will go in the general sort of Marvel superhero shelf, whereas I really think these guys, or most of these guys, or some version of these guys, will go in a Marvel Knights / street level heroes display, probably on my Avengers Tower. And that would make sense for these guys too, since a lot of these guys have been Avengers, or at least secret Avengers. Shang-Chi was one of the secret Avengers. Black Widow was on the secret Avengers, and the regular Avengers too, of course. And Paladin, as we saw in a recent video, I just happen to have 4 of them, 3 of them purple and 1 of them yellow. And, I think that he goes good with these guys, both because of his association with Daredevil and because of his job, how he handles his duties, being kind of a hero. He was a hero for hire when he first came on the scene. So, he's all well and good to hang out with Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Shang-Chi and all these guys. So that's what's on my mind. That's what I'm thinking about. It's kind of a congealing of my recent videos about Paladin and about Blade and I've always got Daredevil, Black Widow, and the Punisher in my head for some reason. They're three of my favorite Marvel characters. Um, Period. End of sentence. So that's what's going on. If I get this shelf set up, I certainly will show it to you. I do plan a 2026 toy room tour video, hopefully sometime within the next month or so, depending on how much time I'm able to put into cleaning the shelves and getting everybody looking good and next to the right characters and all that sort of thing. That's just the nature of the beast. This display with almost 1,000 6-inch characters in it, 6-inch action figures from various lines, not just Marvel Legends, but G.I. Joe Classified and Mezco and Mafex and I think there's a couple of Jazzwares figures even in there. It takes time to when you do an overhaul. It takes time to get everybody looking the way you want them to, and making sure you get rid of all the spider webs and dead spiders and everything else that collects over the course of a year or two in a toy room. It's a job. It's not just a job. It's an adventure. Yeah, sure. So anyway, that's all I have to say right now about my Marvel Knights / Street Level Heroes display that I'm thinking about. Who would you put in such a display? Leave your suggestions in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate it, feel free to go ahead and give it a thumbs down. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. And if you do, hit the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know every time I upload a new video. And it really is true. If you do all the YouTube rigmarole, as a YouTuber that I watch calls it, the liking and commenting and subscribing and sharing. If you do all that stuff, it really does help bring my channel to the attention of more collectors. It's weird to me that there are as many collectors as there are that are interested in these sort of toy room action figure obsession ramblings. But I do appreciate your time and attention and your interest, and it's always good to hear from you when you check in the comments. I appreciate that as well. So thanks for joining me for this Marvel Knights branded edition of Action Figure Obsession. We'll see where we go next. I'll see you on the next video.